Warning: the following video contains explicit language, which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Are you ready? Hey everybody, it's Jeff. Good day. Really nice here again today, as I knew it would be. We got a lot of people out. It was actually in the low 70s today. Really nice break there from the cooler weather that we're getting here for the last couple of weeks. Hey, but I read some on local news here. The weathermen here are predicting Maine's going to have an extremely hot summer this year. I can't remember now why, but they're just saying that we're due to have a hotter summer this year. Now I'm sure that's going to be the case for a lot of places for summer. We're going to start to see more extreme temperatures because of the global warming issue here, I don't like that. Heat. I hate extreme heat, but in this state we mix our humidity with the heat, and it makes it even worse. So I guess. For the short time we have summer here, I guess maybe we'll just have to put up with some extra warm days or something. Last summer wasn't really that bad. I think we had maybe a couple of weeks of some hot weather, but then it cooled off. So I don't know. When they're just saying a warmer summer, I don't know if that's going to be the whole summer or if it's just going to be part of the summer, because we get a lot of rain here too. So we'll see how that ends up here with that. Anyway, a lot of talk today about what's going on in court with Trump, and the hard thing about talking about that is that they're not letting cameras or anything in there to record a lot of the stuff. So all we're getting are bits and pieces that they're just throwing out to the press, and then the press takes it and they get analysts or somebody like that on their panel shows, and they just they build it up and they try to make a lot of analytical things about it, and you're just sitting here listening to a bunch of talking heads basically going over that, and that's not how you made court TV in the past, okay? Court TV was not built on things like that. It was built on putting the cameras in the courtrooms, and that's what got people's attention. Unfortunately, with this, we're not going to really get everything, and so there's really, I'm not sure how much to even talk about that, because for some reason, in a way how do you know that the press isn't building things up to be more explosive just so they can grab your attention? They got a vested interest in making money off of the stuff that they provide you on the air. So, it's like, when they talk about, oh, we got this big story and it's really nothing. It reminds me of that thing way back in the 80s when Geraldo Rivera had supposedly was going to open up some tomb. I can't remember what, and when he opened it, there was nothing in there, and he just built it up and built it up. I'll never forget that. And I think from that, that was like during his early years on television. He was just known for that, and he hasn't really changed a whole lot over the years. Okay, he still is sort of a drama queen when it comes to doing stuff, but I feel like now all the media institute there, whatever you want to call it, the organization, the empire of what we got call as news, is all in Geraldo Rivera's corner now. I mean, they're all doing the same fucking thing, especially with this trial. I think they're hoping something will come out, and if little things come out, they try to build it up to make it something big to talk about for people. And it's so really, what you read on there, you're going to have to understand that you wouldn't be reading it if they didn't put a headline on it somewhere that made you that it didn't grab your attention. And I'm sure after you read it, you felt like maybe you've been had. So I don't know, but I'm sure that the trial with Trump and with Stormy Daniels, what things she said, got under his skin. So I don't know, but the other part of things that's going on today is there's a lot of concern and worry because the press put out some more bullshit polls, okay, trying to, minimize how well Joe Biden has been doing as president. And the way they're doing it, if people would just stop and think for about 5 seconds, they're trying to say that he can't do any better than Trump. And I'm saying, you're comparing this man to Donald Trump, Donald Trump who is, I guess the lowest character that we have ever had as president in this country's history. The lowest, okay? And Joe Biden, you're going to put him down there with him on that as he's just as bad? I ain't buying that. And the press should know better. Okay, every day the press is out there eating up Trump's shit. Okay, they're following every damn thing that's going on with this guy, and so we're seeing all his bad habits. We're seeing all the crap he's doing. All the news that comes out about him is negative. It's more a revelation of the crimes he's done. Okay, and so whenever they talk about Biden, if they ever talk, I mean, he gave a speech here. Joe Biden yesterday, I believe, and nobody even knew that he had given one, and it was a pretty good speech, about Israel and everything, and that should have been important, but the press didn't even cover it because Biden to them is boring. Okay, I don't think the press really like Biden because he doesn't sell papers, and because the right wing is so filled with a circus. You got Lauren Boebert, you got Marjorie Taylor Greene, you got Donald Trump, you got all these characters. It's like watching an episode of The Munsters, okay? You got all these people, and the press is going to gravitate towards the clowns, okay? And they're going to take it even a step further by saying, "Oh, these clowns are a lot better than your Biden." Okay, I mean, it's I'm thinking, it's such childish like televising of things to try to grab ratings, to grab an audience, to grab money, okay? Because you got products to sell, you got ads you got to put in front of people's faces, and then if you're not watching your channel, they're not going to sell. They got to do what they got to do. We've already heard as much from people who run internet companies. Okay, they do the same thing. That's why you watch YouTube now if you're not a premium member, and you're going to get commercials. Okay, they're making money off people watching video. I mean, even this video here is probably going to get interrupted by a YouTube commercial here if you're not a premium member or something. Okay, they got to sell their product. All right, and they this is a way in a capitalist system, I suppose, that they do things. And if the media can't get people to sell stuff on their show, they lose money. The media companies, the news or CBS, NBC, all these companies will lose money because advertisers won't go to them to sell their shit. So they can't afford to lose money, right? They got stockholders, And if the stockholders ain't happy, guess what? They sell their stock. Before you know it, those companies will just dry up like a desert wind. You know, we have to understand that what you're seeing isn't all honest. Okay? What they tell you on the news isn't all honest. Okay? I don't even give a shit what channel it is you're watching. Even the Democrat-run channels have a vested interest in making money off of you watching their shit. Okay? So they're going to say what you want to hear. So you have to weigh it. That's why the polls to me are just, especially in this election cycle, because it's so controversial already. Because we're talking about a criminal running for the White House. Okay, I mean that right there is enough to get people interested. So while they got you, you know, they're going to start really throwing out the goddamn capture the net there of you know, titles for their stories. You know, Trump to do this and Trump will do that. You know, try to grab you. You know, it's like the guy standing out on the corner. Read all about it. You know, to anything just to get you to grab their attention. Okay, and so people are kind of pissed off today because some polls they read show that there's not enough black people interested in this election. Okay, not like the last time. Okay, they say there's a drop in that. Well, how do they know? Did they call up every black person in America and ask them? Huh? Come on, how would they know a name in a phone book as a black man? Or something like that? How would they know? Did they call some area that's just predominantly black? Where would that be? You know? How can they, you know what I'm saying? I wonder sometimes when they throw these polling things out, the method that they use to get their information, because I doubt it's from the internet. Because I use the internet a lot, and I have never, well, no, I'll take that back. 2 times in the last 20 years, I think, I have ever been hit with the polling thing, asking me personally, or, you know, not personally, but asking me directly, you know, pick this or that, you know, for a polling answer, okay? And usually when I answer, I'll see like how many people already answered, and sometimes it's not that many people, like maybe like a few hundred to maybe 1,000. We're talking about 350 million Americans in this country. I mean, Jesus Christ. And they're going to take the information from maybe 1,000 people that answered the poll online. But this isn't the way they do their polling. They still do it the old-fashioned way. You know, for a lot of these companies, they do it by phone calls. Okay? Well, how many people still have a house phone? I don't. You know, I stopped using a house phone a long time ago. I don't need that anymore. How would they know your phone number? If they're gonna call, they gotta know your number, right? They can't just sit there and randomly type numbers in a phone. They don't know who the hell they're getting a hold of, right? Otherwise, companies, stores like Walmart would say, "Hey, somebody tried to poll us today." you know, it's just. So how would they get their information from people with a cell phone? Have you? I mean, let me ask you: for you people watching, any of you out there, have you ever gotten a call on your cell phone from somebody asking you how you feel about this or that, or who you're going to vote for? Anything for polling information? How about any texts? Have you got any texts in there? Because I never did. Okay, and I get texts from people that are always looking to try to get me to sign up for some stupid credit card, you know, once in a while. But that, you know, that's about all I get for bullshit texts. What about emails? I mean, of course, they'd have to know your email, and then they'd have to know your name, right? If they did that to ask you any question like that. I haven't had that. So if they're not coming at you on the internet, okay, and you're not a member of some kind of polling thing, which I don't know if they're, you know, how many people really are a member of it. People who volunteer to be polled, okay? And you're not being emailed, you're not being texted, you're not getting calls on your cell phone. How the fuck are they getting this information? about who feels what about this guy or this president or that ex-president, or how do they get this political data? Do they just I mean, I have to wonder, because today the world is not the same today as it was back in the 80s, before cell phones. I mean, because there was only a few ways you could poll people back then, but today there's even less, because people have kind of ditched those days, the way we used to do things. They don't do that anymore. And with the internet around and stuff, I mean, and then cell phones, I mean, we got rid of the methods that these companies used to rely on to get our data. So I have to wonder, who are they asking? Where is this data coming from? Okay? Do they got people holed up in a fucking dome somewhere in the country, that are just polled all the time? That's all they do for a living, is they just sit in this room and get polled all the time. I mean, is that how they do this? So, I like I said, until I can get a good fucking answer to that question, why should I believe that poll data I'm getting is actual valid? It's just, why should I say that? Why should I say that that even Biden is ahead in the polls, or that Trump is ahead in the polls? Why should I believe any of that stuff coming from today's media if they're not going to tell you where they get this data from? Okay? I don't care how many people they claim that they polled. Okay, you can poll 10,000 people, but who are these 10,000 people? Where the hell are they? You don't have to tell me names. Give me locations. Certain parts of this country, you got your demographics, for Christ's sake. You got certain, more blacks in this area than whites, more whites in this area than blacks, more Hispanics in this area than blacks. You know what I'm saying? It depends on where they're polling, if they're polling at all. And so like I said, I wish, I could get a straight answer, from these polling companies. And believe me, I have asked, okay? And what they send me back is gobbledygook. It doesn't make any fucking sense to me how they're doing this, how they're collecting this data. And they're giving this to the media, who probably never asks them these questions, right? They just take the numbers and expect that they're being honest about where they're getting it from, right? Because a lot of these places have been around for decades. But if they're still using old methods, then who the fuck is answering the phone? These old people, decrepit people? Well, Jesus Christ. Who do you think would be supporting Trump other than some of these old people? Because he's the last bastion of a generation that's going into the past. I mean, even Biden's part of that generation. I mean, poll the young people today, obviously, you're going to get different results than if you just poll people in their, 50s on up. Okay? Like I said, I don't really understand. And when they take these poll numbers and they put them out there and they make you worried, like a lot of people are gullible. They bite that shit. They eat that right up when they see that, and then, oh God Almighty, he's gonna lose. You know what I'm saying? They build themselves up, and I'm like, will you shut up and listen for a minute? Think about where the fuck they got this data from. Who is it that they're getting it from? How are they doing this? How are they collecting this stuff? I've heard people all the time, especially on YouTube from different shows, that people asking the same question. They can't just rely on calling people, because not many people have house phones anymore. What about how do they get your cell number if they're calling you that way? Yeah, they're collecting data and stuff like that, but have you ever been polled? Have they ever put stuff right on your screen and say, answer this? No, they don't. That's not how they're doing it. So how are they doing it? How are they getting polling information? Okay, that's what a lot of people, I think, would really like to know, because I'll tell you, if the truth ever come out about that, it would probably twist the minds of a lot of Americans, and they'd probably feel like they've been fucked all this time by people who have been dishing out some pretty bad data. And a lot of other people have been relying on that bad data to base a whole bunch of arguments on, just to make people panic or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You have to, it's just a big friggin' shitstorm, I think, in a way. And election years are like that. But with this one, where you have a politician, a real politician, who has been trying to do a lot of good things. Okay, a lot of good things. And he's succeeded in a lot of ways. Right now, there's a lot of shit going on overseas and stuff like that, and the Republicans love it because when chaos happens over there, they try to bring it here to this country, which they've done here, so that way it looks bad on the president. Okay, who fucking knows about the connection between what's happening there and here? Okay, but the truth is, we've already seen what's been going on in the colleges and stuff like that. But we got a guy who is a serious politician. He's not make-believe. He's not some former businessman. Okay, he's not a guy that's been convicted of a rape, okay, or has cheated on his taxes, or has stolen national secrets and put it in his bathroom at home. Okay, he's not a guy that's doing all the things that Trump's doing. Okay, he isn't that guy. He's not that guy. Okay, and there was a time when a guy like that would be someone that we would look at seriously for president. Okay, he's running against a fucking sack of shit. I mean, I laugh because I remember Mike Dukakis and how everybody laughed at him, and stuff like that. Mike Dukakis is a better politician than Donald Trump. I would vote for him over Trump. Okay, Trump isn't even a person you'd want to consider. Robert De Niro just recently or yesterday, whatever, gave an interview saying, he can't believe how he's seeing things play out in this country. Because when he was younger, he never would have believed that the stuff that happened in Germany that brought Hitler to power could happen here, but he's seeing mirrors of that happening here, okay? And it concerns him greatly. And he's saying, look, Trump's a bad apple. You don't want him in there for another 4 years. Look what he did in the last 4 years. If you've forgotten, go back in your news clips and stuff like that online. It's still there. All the shit that he did while he was president, all the controversy he created, and how he took a very good economy when Obama was president, and he turned that on its head. And then after he'd done that, we had the pandemic, and how many people did he get killed under his watch because he was giving out some bad information to people? He was so cavalier about what he was telling people that he didn't realize the sycophants who follow him would worship every word he spit at them. So they turned around and did what he said, and they ended up dead. Does he take any responsibility for that? No, he doesn't. Yet there was this woman here some time back who was texting a guy who was suicidal and told him to do it, kill yourself, and yet they punished her for that. We're going to punish him for that, for telling people to, take, what the hell was that damn medicine there that was for a horse or some goddamn thing, and drink bleach and all this shit, and he was, all the stuff that he was saying. Is he going to take responsibility for that and all the people he killed after he said that? No, he ain't going to do that. He's not going to do that. He's innocent. Nobody can touch Trump, right? Jesus. Let's have a break here.
This is me.
This is me.
This is me!
This is me.
I'm Alex Curtis. I'm a lobsterman in Maine, and this is me.
I'm Ruth McLaughlin, and this is me.
I'm Eric Hopkins. I'm an artist, and this is me.
This is me.
Me.
This is me.
This is me.
This is me.
At the end of the journey, the main thing is you, original.
Carrie Lake and Donald Trump. At first, they admitted they wanted a national abortion ban.
I don't think abortion pills should be legal.
There has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman.
Yeah, there has to be some form.
Now, they're pretending they won't back the ban if they're elected. They're lying.
This total ban on abortion is out of line with where the people of this state are.
Did Arizona go too far?
Yeah, they did, and that'll be straightened out.
I agree with President Trump. This is such a personal and private issue.
Two frauds desperately running from the truth and from their real position. She backed the ban, and he's still bragging about ending Roe.
That I was able to terminate Roe v. Wade, and I'm proud to have done it. I was so honored to have done it.
They'll ban all abortion, even to save a mother's life. They'll end IVF, and they'll ban birth control. Donald Trump and Carrie Lake, they're the same. They're dishonest, deceptive, and dangerous for every woman.
Be a part of the entertainment value of a lifetime.
I loved it.
It was the best performance I've seen in a lifetime.
I loved the show. I liked it very much. He's a very entertaining man. It's well worth the money.
Now appearing in Charlottetown, coming to Halifax November 6th to the 18th, and St. John November 20th through the 26th.
Just inject it into me. Just get me my mocking Lauren Boebert fix as quickly as we can. Thank you, students of George Washington University, for your civic duty yesterday. Everywhere she goes, she should be reminded that she is filthy trash. Now, to the moment that this video is really about, and that is her attempting to, on private property, she's being reminded that's somebody's personal property, and instead of respecting that as a member of Congress, as a sworn constitutional officer, someone who was sworn to protect and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic, even though she is an enemy, a domestic enemy of that Constitution, and she is attempting to rip down property that is not hers, on property that is not hers. And what does she scream out when someone reminds her of this? This is America. What? What does that even mean? You sound like one of the insurrectionists who screamed, our house, as they ransacked and defecated in and traipsed Confederate flags through the United States Capitol. These people are so stupid, they think that because they pay taxes, they have a right to just sleep in Joe Biden's bed in the White House because it's paid for by tax dollars. That's not how this works. To coin a Geico commercial or whatever those commercials were, that's not how any of this works. Here's Lauren Boebert getting in a tussle because she has the mighty authority of a member of Congress on the campus of George Washington University.
We're blocking it. Everyone else are blocking it, sir.
Stop. Excuse me. That's not private. Excuse me. This is private property. This is America, and that shit needs to come down. It is private property.
Sorry, I rebuked you.
It's not your property. Are you a student here?
I'm on the faculty here.
Then you climb up there and get that down. Wait, you're on the flag is personal property. The statue is not. Get it down.
It's personal property.
I'll stay here.
As though Lauren Boebert holds any authority over the campus of George Washington University whatsoever, over what is draped on that statue, over that flag itself. Being a member of Congress doesn't give you extra authority. You are white trash. Maybe you should attend to your personal life, Lauren Boebert, and worry less about students on this campus who are exerting their First Amendment right under the Constitution to protest. Whether you agree or not is immaterial. You garbage person. This is what you just witnessed is absolutely clout chasing. It's the worst of the worst being paraded through. You see James Comer, you see Anna Luna, Paulina Luna, whatever her name is. You see Lauren Boebert. It's just clout chaser after clout chaser showing up to put on a show for the world, violently trying to rip down property that's not hers. While, by the way, being guarded by Capitol Police.
God almighty. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. Oh man. That's awesome. That's awesome. Freaking Lauren Boebert. He's white trash. White trash. Oh God. She really is. She really is. I can't fucking imagine why in the hell she could just go to some university and show her face, and then she does that shit with the flag there she was trying to pull off of a statue, like that was hers. You know, oh, I'm personally offended. Well, too bad. I wouldn't care if they had a flag, a rebel flag sitting on that statue. If it doesn't belong to you, keep your hands off. Let the university decide about, let the college campus say something about it. But you're just a visitor there. You ain't got no right grabbing someone else's property. Okay? I know the guy, he was saying that, this is about clout grabbing. And I'm saying, no, this is about her pretending that she's important. I have power, because I'm a congresswoman. I could tell people what to do. That stands to reason because, the things that she's been doing while she's been in Congress really illustrate this selfishness, this ego that she has that, I'm untouchable. I can go to a theater and give a guy a hand job in the fucking theater, or whatever. No one's going to say anything to me about it. And how dare, the cop come up and tell me I can't do this. It's just, it's this entitlement that, oh, I'm a queen now and stuff. It's gone straight to her head, this power that she thinks she has. She's got no power to go around and bully people that way. But in her mind, she does. That's a person that doesn't deserve to have that kind of office because the power of that office that she holds, okay, in Washington, isn't something that you brag about with people or assume that gives you a get out of jail free card. But I mean, isn't that like Trump? I mean, Trump's the same way, right? Because, I was an ex-president, I should have total immunity of everything that I did as president, even if I'm not president, okay? Well, Richard Nixon made that argument, and the answer to that was no. Okay, you do not have immunity, absolute immunity. You're not a king, okay? You're a president. That's not the way it works in this country, all right? If you want a country that absolves a leader of all their crimes, then you're in the wrong country because that's not the United States. That's why we have a breakdown of powers in a country. We got a judicial system, we got legislator, and we got, you know, the highest office, the presidency. Okay, we have that into three parts in our country, the executive. So when you're talking about having somebody give the absolute word on everything, no, that not even the president can do that. Okay, even if we were, let's say, with the most extreme example here, let's say war's about to break out, World War III. The president by himself cannot launch the nukes. I don't care who the hell the president is at the time, whether it's even Trump. He does not have total authority to launch those missiles. Okay, that's an issue that is broken up into parts. Okay, and he has like the final code, I guess. But you know, there's a series of steps you have to get before it even gets to the president's hands. Okay, so you can't just say that the president by himself can launch all the nukes. Okay, if that was the case, okay, we probably wouldn't have, or we'd probably be dead already. Okay, because there was a point in the Reagan administration where people felt that our country was going to be attacked by Russia after Reagan was shot and he was in the hospital. Okay, and what they didn't know was that somebody forgot to tell the White House or whoever that the Russians were doing exercises around that time, and that they were just training for war. And of course, we monitor them, and they monitor us. And when we saw what was going on over there, we panicked here, because nobody was in the know. And so we almost went into World War III based on misunderstanding of what was happening in Russia, okay, or Soviet Union. I'm sorry, the Soviet Union. Okay, we almost went to war over that. Okay, they even made a little TV movie. Richard Dreyfuss was in it. Okay, he was playing Haig there, I guess. He was the guy that says, "Oh, I'm in power." You know, I'm the one in power. He was playing that character there. Anyway, yeah. So, like I said, they couldn't do anything until they went through a series of steps before they could even make the final decision on launching any nukes. Well, thank God that system was there in place, because it probably would have sealed our fate if it wasn't. Okay. So. Yes, we don't have kings in our government. We left England because of that ridiculous way of doing things over there, that, and people were not equally represented. They felt they weren't being heard by their leadership over there. Okay, and so things came to a head, and people decided, we're getting the hell out of here. There's a land over there that's largely ungoverned. Okay, it's just a bunch of tribes and stuff like that, but it's not unified. It's not, it's just loose, and they're at war with each other all the time. We could go over there and start our own government, and so they did. And while we still had ties to England, we decided that still was too much, so we wanted to cut our ties to England and really be independent, and we had to fight a war for that. So, like I said, you got Lauren Boebert out there who feels like things ought to be the way they were when we was living in England way back when. Okay, and she ain't the only one. She's not the only one. Okay, because you got a whole bunch, and I'm gonna say, I know they say 25%, but I'm not gonna go that high. I'm gonna say about 15 to 20% in between there of this country who feel like she does, that we ought to have a dictator essentially in the White House, and there shouldn't be any other, no judiciary, no legislation. There shouldn't be any of these other branches. It all should just land on the lap of one man or one woman or whatever. Probably never be a woman as long as a Republican is in. Okay, but like I said, it's just that. That's what they want. And my idea is, what experience do you people have with a dictatorship that makes you think that's better than what we got now? Okay, you people, or there's no one alive that ever came from a country that you know, where we saw America or like that existing that way, where our country prospered. It was never that way from day one. Okay? Now, if you immigrated here from a country like Russia, if you came here, your attitude about America is going to be completely different. You're going to say, wow, you guys have a lot of freedoms here. What are you bitching about? You know, I've talked to some people online who are, well, they were in Ukraine, and I was contacting them, you know, just before the war broke out over there, and you know, they all have dreams of coming to America one day to make it big, you know, do this or do that, at being actor, being model, being, you know, whatever. They want to come to this country to make their dreams come true, okay? And, you know, I banter with them a little bit, you know, and talk to them about, you know, how they feel about their country, and then they ask me about America, and I tell them, and they're always like, "You're so lucky, you know, you guys have all these freedoms over there. We can't do this, you know." And you know, it's hard for me to see from their point of view, but they have a really polished view of our country, because they haven't lived here. They don't see the problems that we got, okay? But still, they think it's a better place. And I try to say back, you know, there's a lot of people in this country who think America is just terrible, and they would rather it go the other way. And they can't understand that, how, you know, we've been in this country, we've lived under the things we got, and if that was taken away, we would regret it. They know that we would. And after the war started over there, my conversations with them would get less and less, you know, frequent. They were happy with the freedoms they had before it started, and a lot of them, you know, would not want to go back to being under the subjugation of Putin. Okay? So that goes to show you, even in Ukraine, where they had freedoms and stuff like that, maybe not as many as the United States, they loved those freedoms they have, and they were willing to fight and die for those, to keep those freedoms from being taken away from the oppressive hand of Putin. Over here, we got people who are willing to fight to take away the freedoms for Donald Trump, who they feel is the one that wants to take those away. They feel like we should go his way. Okay? And it's funny that party, the Republican Party, is supportive of Putin, because Putin has given that party money. Okay, we know this. He's sent lots of money to that party, because, hey, the Republican Party is not really doing that great as far as grabbing donations or whatever from just voters. They ain't got enough voters, you know, to send them money. So they got to look elsewhere. So who are they going to look for? You know, they get Putin on their side. So all of a sudden now they're pro Russia. Well, there was a time in this country where that wouldn't even be allowed, okay? They would have been all those Republicans that have been rounded up, tried for treason. They probably would have been deported out of this country, okay, or at worst imprisoned, because I'm thinking of like the 1950s, you know, where, you know, people were so suspicious of each other. We got communists living among, you know. The people today would never be out there supporting Putin right now, because if they were, they'd be quietly vanished from society. How I wish we'd still have those days right now, but at the same time, you know, the seeking of communists was very intrusive, and got a lot of people in trouble for something that they didn't do. Okay, but today, it's like nobody cares now. If you want to be a communist and go shout it out on the town square, yeah, go right ahead and do it. You'll even get people that'll support it. You know how things have changed, and now you could see how, since we let the floodgates open and all this pro-communist shit come out, now our country's in danger of losing its democracy, because now we got a nutcase, a criminal, who is a front runner for the Republican Party to be president. You know, what a world, or what a country we have, where we can where something like that could happen. I don't think the people who created this country so long ago would have ever imagined that one day we'd be where we are now. But I think they knew all along that a democracy is a messy thing. Okay, it really is. I mean, you got people having the freedom to disagree and all that, and it creates a stew of debate and infighting, and trying to make decisions, and against other people's ideas, and it's a big arena, essentially. Okay, and I can't say that the people who founded the country were perfect and knew everything was what was going to happen. No, our government was designed to be modified as we go in order to correct mistakes along the way. Okay, that's how it was set up. That's why you got amendments and all this shit that happen every once in a while. So, but times change, generations change, people's values change, But I think they always believed that a democracy would be universal, that everybody would agree that that's the better way. Okay? Somehow that stopped, at least for a quarter of the country. Somehow the injection of the other side has found root in part of our country, and that's making a lot of people scratch their head and say, how? When history has shown us what's happened to these other countries that have gone that way. They have endless wars. There's always strife. There's always starvation. There's always poverty. These people are oppressed. Okay, they're beheaded on TV. Okay, you know what I'm saying? We see all these negative things that happen in other countries that are under the kind of a dictatorship that these Americans feel we ought to have. Okay. I mean, and they're even walking right down the same religious political mixture that destroyed a lot of countries in the past. We want to be a Christian nation, in this country. So in other words, freedom of religion is out the window as far as you're concerned. You don't want anybody here that isn't Christian. How many other countries, that do that shit have a happy populace? I feel like, for some reason, people feel like that the effort to try to be a better country is too much, okay? They don't want to learn to be tolerant. They don't want to learn to mingle or to mix with other people. We're sick and tired of, having to, pay taxes to get people safety net programs in case they fall on bad time. We don't want to do that anymore. We're sick of that. All the money that we make, it should be ours, and we shouldn't have to be forced to give a little bits, to the government. Government, we shouldn't have a government. Okay, well, these same people that are saying we shouldn't have a government are for a guy who's looking to expand the executive branch to the outer reaches of the universe here, where he can just deem things, and it's so. Okay, I can't imagine a government that's more bloated than something like that. I mean, look at Putin. That's the very example of a huge government that's controlling everybody's lives. Well, that's what they want. They don't want small government that you can drown it in a bathtub. They want a big government, so that way they can decide whether or not you have a bathtub. Okay, this is the kind of government they fucking want. All right, and you have to wonder, are these people sane, by and large? Because they're obviously not talking from any kind of knowledge. If they read history, they'd know better. So since they don't know better, and they obviously haven't read history, then these are the people that Donald Trump says he likes. The uneducated. He likes them. Why? Because they're easily duped. You can tell them anything you want, and they're going to buy it. That's why he likes the poorly educated in this country, okay? That was an insult, by the way, to the people who were clapping and applauding after he just called them stupid. Okay? They all thought that was a compliment. And they're out there, ooh, and I'm like, he just called you all a bunch of stupid idiots, and you're sitting here thanking him for it, He loves the poorly educated. That was the polite way of calling you stupid, you know? But now looking back on it, yeah, maybe they are poorly educated, because if they had any education, they'd know that they're walking right into the path that led all the countries in this world to its knees, okay? And they're doing the same fucking thing right here now. They'd see it. And there's people all over the internet who have been pointing this out. Even Robert De Niro, he said, I can see it. You know, what's happening here has happened before. You know, and it just repeats itself because people fail to learn from history. You know, they just, all the movies that Hollywood makes about World War II and all the documentaries that's been made about Hitler and all these other dictators around the world that flood our media. Okay, has anybody been watching that shit? You know, really? I wonder, because why they keep making this stuff if people are just marching right back into the damn mix of it, hopping out of the pot right into the fire, doing it with all the eagerness and that they think they're heading for the promised land, sad people. I mean, it just I just don't get it, and I heard somebody said, well, maybe those are the same percentages of people who have showed up on the Jerry Springer show. Maybe that's that folk there that, I'm thinking, yeah, well, it certainly seems like the same mentality. I'll put it like that the folks you saw on there, okay? They're just circus audiences, they're there for the entertainment, okay? And if you try to pitch them some political comments, ask them something politically, a question about politics or something about a position he might take, you're not really going to get an intelligent answer from them. What you're going to get is stuff repeated, that Trump might have said, or Lauren Boebert might have said, or Marjorie Taylor Greene, okay, might have said, and you can't press them for details about their sources because they have none. They can't tell you. They can't explain that. Where they get that source from. Okay. It's like when they say, Biden's corrupt. Just all presidents are corrupt. And I'm thinking, well, that's just a generalization. You're just basically saying, get out of my face. I don't want to talk to you anymore. When you say something like that. Okay. If there's corruption, you would have in your mind a list of things. If you think Biden is corrupt, you'd have a list of things in your mind. But there's only two things that they're bitching about: the economy and the border. That's it. Well, Biden's been working on the economy, and like it or not, there are improvements in the economy. Inflation, yeah, is still a problem in a lot of parts of the country, and it's not going down that much. Okay, so yeah. But he is working on it. He's not saying he's going to work on it, and he never does, just like Trump did about the infrastructure thing that he said he was going to work on it and never did. Or the border wall and never did. Okay? He's been working on it. The border issue, he had that solved. They tried to pass a bill, the Republicans rejected it. And it had everything in there the Republicans wanted. But no, Donald Trump didn't want them to pass that fucking thing because he needs something to run on as president. He wants the border to be an absolute mess when he's running. So that way he could say, I'll clean it up. Of course, he probably won't once he's in office, right? Just like before, he makes all these promises. But the fact is, those two issues that they're bitching about that they think, Trump would be better at, which they have no evidence to show that he would be, those two issues aren't really issues, okay? They're not issues because the Democrats have been working on it. And if it wasn't for the right wing, that border bill would have passed and, there you go. They wouldn't have had anything to complain about. So then they would have been reduced to just the economy, not being so good. Okay? And that would have been it. But Trump wasn't very good with the economy either when he was president because it crashed under him. Okay? He was just riding on Obama's economy, until the pandemic hit, and that just derailed everything, and he wasn't there to try to help fix that. Biden's been on top of the fucking job while he's been president. When things come up, he's right there. Okay? Trump was never right there. He was playing golf. He'd have press conferences where he'd tell people to drink this or take that for medicine, and and all this, and fight with the CDC. I mean, that was all you got out of him. Okay, during the pandemic. Meanwhile, we were wiping our asses with fucking coffee filters. He couldn't even get that going. The merchandise moving in this country anymore. He couldn't do a goddamn thing. People are screaming about, where's our masks? There are no masks. Why weren't they bitching at Trump about that? When they went to the store to look for masks to wear and there wasn't any. Did anybody say, no, they bitched at the store, but they won't even say, oh, the Donald Trump, he's the president. Where the fuck is he? If it would have been Biden, that's exactly where they'd have taken their ills, right directly to the White House. But when Trump was in there, no. They didn't say a fucking word about that. No. That's what you got. So, anyway, that's it for today. So I hope everybody has a great rest of the week. Please subscribe, comment, so you can know when my videos go up. And keep your ears open for health matters. And treat each other kindly out there. Try to avoid confrontation, political or otherwise. It never has a happy ending. So, take care, everybody.